All right, we should be live, ladies and gentlemen. Bad timing for me starting the stream because there's a blender going on in the background. Apologies for that. Welcome back to the stream, guys. Have to have some degree of scuffage on a Good Morning Azeroth, or else it is not an authentic GMA. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody's doing well. What is it, 8/20, man? Holy, year is flying, dude. August 20th, GMA 51. It has been weeks since we've done our last Good Morning Azeroth. Really excited to catch up with everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us, brother.
Absolutely.
Get the whole team back together.
Guys, please let us know if there's anything horribly messed up about the stream.
Can you hear us all?
In any way. I can hear you guys for now, but I'm so...
There's a little box next to my head. I don't know what that is on this.
Oh, yep. There it is.
There we go. That's all.
I'm just so convinced there has to be something horribly wrong about the stream.
No,
I can hear
brother.
you guys. Not even scuffed yet. Okay, that's good to see. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being here. I don't know if anybody been here since the very start of GMA. Say something in the chat, man. Good to see everybody. Defcamp, Melderon, Graysfordays, Dunedain, the whole gang. Dunedain got a fresh cut.
Whoa.
Before we begin, Defcamp, can you please do the honors?
You ready? Everybody, here we go. For GMA number 51, since I recently got a prayer of shadow protection, let's put that out on everybody. Here we go. Good morning, Azeroth. We're back. We're back, and we fucking fuck.
Hell yeah, Jeff. Love the energy. It was great form too, because you peeked out, but not for too long. You know, you just clipped it right at the very top, and then you came right back down.
You actually were like teetering on the thing. You're like off on for that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh god, I had something planned in my head to say, I forgot it.
So let's do.
At least I remember that. Okay.
Let's do a quick round of catch up. You know, there's 5 of us here today. Maybe let's start with the elephant in the room. Not really an elephant in the room. He's actually just, you know, he looks handsome today with his new fresh haircut. Dunedain, let's start with you, brother. How are you, man? How have you been? What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, I moved recently, so you see probably new place here in the back. Everything's good, man. Phase 5 AQ launched. 4 of us on the server. It was only last week that it launched, so been busy raiding last few nights. Basically raided 3 out of 4 nights because reset came in and stuff like that. So yeah, exciting times WoW-wise and in real life as well. I guess we talk a bit more about AQ later, so that's it for now.
Nice.
Very nice.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I'll jump in.
Go for it. My dogs are barking, man. This is always shit.
We're still playing Classic WoW. I got to raid AQ the first week. You know, I got married. I'm moving. Got a lot of IRL stuff going on, so I got 1 raid in. I was happy to do that. I'm swamped with hardcore content right now. I couldn't be happier, and we're still playing World of Warcraft. So I can't ask for much more than that.
You have been killing it, Grace. Can we get some love in the chat for Graysfordays? Big streamer, by the way. Big streamer alert, by the way. Big Grayson over here. Dude, getting married, just, you know, going to Philly. So many...
I can't wait. I can't wait.
He's moving to our hometown, guys.
Yeah, we've got IRL streams incoming with Deathcamp and Melderon.
Yeah, boy.
Streams.
Oh, yeah.
No, me too, man. Like, I have love for Philly. You guys maybe in the chat know, but I went to Temple University, and then you know, I'm also currently working part-time for a company over there too. So I'm hoping that 2021, if all this pandemic can just die down a little bit, we can smoke some stogies over at the Defcamp and Melderon gamer house.
Stogies, eat some cheesesteaks. Fuck yeah, boys.
Yeah.
All the healthy, just be the healthy, well-adjusted people. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Doc Melderon, my favorite fruit fly scientist. How are you, my man?
What's up, guys? Doing good. Like Grays, we got in. Thanks to Onslaught, we got into
Onslaught.
we got an AQ 40 week 1 and had a great time. Did really well. Really proud of my guild. Shout out to Eden on US Scarum. And other than that, been leveling a warrior because I miss tanking, and then also leveling a warrior on hardcore
and a shaman.
And
with me.
Well, what? Oh, well, not yet. Not until the warrior dies. The shaman doesn't start until the warrior. Oh, you mean the duo hardcore?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're also doing a duo hardcore Defcamp. Yeah. So I'm doing 2 hardcore characters. Yeah, it's been good.
Yes.
So,
It's awesome, man. So he's been raiding this whole time, just consistent, man. You're probably super geared now, I'm guessing, right? Are you like full best and everything?
No, I still have I still don't have Pure Elementium banned. I still don't have. I haven't gotten anything out of AQ yet.
He doesn't need it.
I put myself on really low prio Kargoz because honestly, dude, there's no healing to go out, bro. On bosses,
crazy. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I put myself on low prio.
How you doing, Defcamp? How big things happened with you recently too? I'm sure.
Yes. So first off, I quit my job. I do volunteer work with them still, but I decided that I wanted to focus on streaming full time. So starting yesterday was technically my first full-time day as a first day as a full-time streamer. I'm very fucking psyched about that. This community has been amazing. I stream. Obviously, I've been with Melderon and Grays. We did AQ. We cleared it. We one-shot Cthulhu. We had a great night, and ever since then, we've been one-shotting every boss in AQ. So that's been amazing. Been having a lot of fun doing hardcore streams, and life is pretty good right now, man. Pretty good. Melderon and I are in a new place. We moved out, and things are. I couldn't be happier right now with how everything's going. I'm just very blessed, very lucky, and and to be part of this community as well is just cherry on the top.
Yeah,
sounds great, man. I didn't even know that. I jumped into your stream and didn't know it was. Your job.
Yeah. So
midnight somewhere. Yeah. It's awesome.
It's nice, man. Streaming is nice. I mean, it really, especially in these times with the whole pandemic and stuff going along, it makes you feel like you have a social life, right? Imagine just going through all this without just being able to connect online and have this community and all that. It would just suck way more, right? So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just want to answer Melderon Luz. So when was a turn point where I made this decision? So basically, I had worked as a kind of like a counselor for the last 2 years, and because of the the COVID thing and all that, my work I basically lost like half my hours, right? So I started making a lot less money because of it, and my streaming has always been a passion of mine, right? I've always loved streaming, and I've gotten to the point where I was making a lot more money streaming than I was at my job. So I figured, hey, let's fucking do this full time and make the most out of it. And I think it's definitely the right decision. I'm planning on going back to school as well, so getting some schooling and stuff too. And I think for me the turning point was coming, because I recently started streaming again. We all came back around 2 months ago, I think it was, or a month ago now, a month and a half. When we all kind of start streaming again, and ever since then, thanks to Kargoz and Grays and the guys supporting the hardcore community, it's been amazing to see people and come in the stream and always are willing to watch whatever we're doing. If we're doing hardcore, if we're doing AQ40, we've got an amazing community, the best community I think here. So. Thanks to you guys.
I think we're all like, I don't want to speak about others' best, but I sensed it with you too, Def. Like, we're all just happier when we're all streaming and doing our thing, and it's
100%, dude. Yeah.
So it's good feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kargoz. Yeah, where are you sitting at, Kargoz? How's everything going for you?
Oh, things are good with me, man. Like I said, I mean, people on my channel probably know about a farm a few months ago. I took a few months away from the game, kind of. It's just the circle of hype. It never goes up into the right forever. You kind of have to take a hiatus sometimes and come back. That's if you're just trying to be really natural and kind of organic about it. And now I'm just super reinvigorated again with particularly the hardcore scene, like the hardcore community, which we'll talk a bit about today. I know the Kool-Aid's pretty strong when it comes to the hardcore stuff, but can't help it, man. It really is just renewing the lease of enjoyment on the game for me and for so many others now, which is, you love to see it. But yeah, things have been good, man. Things have been good. So, guys, Farmer Kargoz, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, but so the game plan for today's GMA is a little all over the place, but it's because it's been so long since we've done a past GMA. So we want to talk about Classic WoW, like where we currently stand with regard to the AQ being out, next timeline. We'll just touch on stuff, we'll try to bang it out. We'll talk about BlizzCon predictions, because there was an article or two that came out saying that BlizzCon will happen early next year. Whether that happens, I don't know. But there's high likelihood that TBC gets announced there. So we'll talk about that.
Virtual or real
virtual?
BlizzCon?
Well, I'll pull up the article. Is it virtual? Yeah, it might be virtual.
Okay.
There's also some interesting articles talking about MMOs in general and the current state of MMOs. We can talk about that for a little bit. Hardcore, we can talk about that a little bit. And whatever you guys want to talk about, if you have something really juicy that we're missing or something, definitely shout it out. So I'm really happy that, Gray's just hung up the saddle, as he said, but Melderon, Dunedain, Defcamp, you guys are still actively raiding, right, every week? And
Yes.
So maybe we can start there. AQ is out. How was AQ received by the community? Please chime in the chat as well. Like, how was AQ received by the community? Did Blizzard do a good job rolling out AQ? Are people having fun? Is it everything people wanted it to be? Let's go.
I think
that's a good question.
The interesting part here is we have kind of different guilds, right?
Yeah.
I think we have
a
little bit of different experience. And Alliance and Horde.
Let's start with the gate opening. I think that's the fair place to start, right? So it's funny, like we have a Wowhead news tracker on our Discord, in our guild Discord, and it said, "Oh yeah, there's a deep dive with the developers about how they redid the opening of AQ and how it was less buggy and less ball." And I'm like, it was a shit show. What are they talking about? Like, dude, the lag was horrible.
Horrible.
I'm not saying that like I wasn't expecting some lag. I was, but like. I mean, maybe it was better than it was back in 2004.
It definitely was better, yeah.
But, like, I mean, I wouldn't be very proud about how... I think it was... you couldn't see anything, basically. It was like you were standing there, and then you saw lightning hit the ground, and then you saw like these big Anubis guys just appear, and then you see them like, go like this, and then people die. It was, it was a shit show.
So the really cool thing was that on Skyrim, we were one of the first servers to have the gates open. So we... Like, as soon as the war was, like, I think it was, like, 1 p.m. server, like, 3 weeks ago, something like that, where, the gates, we were one of the first servers to have the gates open. So that was really exciting because everyone was watching us, Everyone was seeing what we were doing. The opening event was a lot of fun. The only problem is Skyrim is very skewed Horde, right? So there was very little alliance around, but people do get mind controlled, so everyone was seeing what we were in your faction and stuff like that. And there was a lot of griefing and people complaining about being killed by the same faction. But the 10-hour event, I gotta say, was a lot of fun. I wasn't there.
As long as you weren't standing at the gates.
Yeah, as long as you weren't standing at the gates. We were trying to get as much rep as we could. So we were killing a lot of these big guys. We had most of the guild down there. But there, like Melderon said, there was a lot of lag. There was a lot of just craziness going on, but it was a lot of fun. I gotta say, like, I missed it. I was still leveling at the time back in vanilla, so I didn't get to see it. So it was very exciting to have that be one of the first guilds, one of the first servers to have the open. Thanks to Onslaught.
Which is interesting because we were thinking that Skyrim might have been the last because the Alliance population was so dead.
Yeah,
right. Like, is that a testament to how sweaty people can get when they're that determined and that unified?
That's a testament to how amazing Onslaught is, dude. Yeah.
They are some serious gamers. I wonder how much extra hours it took for them to.
We should explain that.
So,
explain, yeah.
So okay, well, I don't want to talk for Ale. I feel like bad whenever he's not here. But basically, from what I understand, every raider was responsible for a certain portion of the resources, right?
Horde and Alliance, yeah.
And so they also had to have a separate account, and then they were responsible for a portion of the Alliance side of it.
Yeah.
Okay? So you would see Onslaught members in Orgrimmar just making runecloth bandages for hours. Like, just sitting there by the mailbox making runecloth bandages, right? And yeah, you could say, whatever you want about them, like they had no lives, whatever. But guess what? We all got to raid on Skyrim because of them.
Yeah.
And I thank them personally. I thank Sal. I thank Faye. I thank Ale. I thank all of them because, like, yeah, okay, were they doing it for their own reasons? Of course they were, right? But doesn't mean that I can't be appreciative of them doing it.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
And it actually worked out great because, meme about Skyrim all you want. It's a PvE server, fine. Say what you want, but we got it open week 1, and on the PvP servers there was cross-faction collusion going on between Horde and Alliance, and then there were people that are actually boycotting in Bloodsail Buccaneers. You guys saw what was happening.
Yeah,
I can talk a little bit about that, by the way.
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah.
On a darker note, I heard. Oh, sorry, man. Go ahead, my bad.
I play on one of the smaller European servers, Bloodfang. That is, well, it's medium pop and it's kind of big in my eyes, but it's one of the smaller population servers, and it's somewhat Alliance favored, but it's basically 40-60, something like that. And I think the opening event was really, really, really nice. Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though I was moving and I didn't have time to play that much. We had someone in the guild who went for Scepter Bearer, and the whole guild was helping him like constantly. And every time I logged in, I was killing those things in the mines. Not the mines, the Zora. It's the mines basically.
The hives.
Hives, indeed. But there was like a whole thing going on the server. Certain Lions guilds had made. They made friends basically with Horde, so they didn't attack each other, and that was not cool for us because we didn't do that. And then the Discord blew up with all kind of drama and stuff. So you felt like there was a lot going on, definitely a lot of drama, but it also was really fun to be part of, really. And in the end, we managed to finish the Scepter quest. So we have a guild member now with Black Hirach Battle Tank, and
Nice.
It was really cool to be part of that, and that's something you don't forget, I think. And it's part of the story that Vanilla WoW is. So I really enjoyed being on a medium pop server. We had time to do it. If it was open in the first week, we wouldn't have time to do it because we are basically kind of a small alliance guild, right? Well, medium to small. Now we have time to do it, and it was just really nice. And the opening event itself, it lagged out a little bit, but not as much as you guys described. But it was Horde versus Alliance basically, and Horde was on the gong thing where you ring the scepter and stuff. Yeah. And then, like 10 to 5 minutes before it actually happened, then Alliance swarmed in, and then everything lagged out. And in the end, we weren't able to ring the gong as first, but an Alliance dude did, or a girl actually, I think.
Very
and then,
cool.
Yeah, the things found, and we went to Tenorus because there was less lag there. But I really enjoyed it, man. It was just fun. The opening event and all that stuff was great. It was one of the best things ever.
Yeah, because I've been hearing mixed things, right? So like, please chime in the chat too. Like, try to be constructive with your feedback in the chat about whether you enjoyed it or you didn't enjoy it or you didn't participate. If you didn't participate at all in the gates, then definitely say something as well. Just trying to get a reading of the community here. Some people have said, like my buddy Foamy, he's in a top guild, and he said, "Yo, this AQ event has revitalized WoW for me. I love it. The PvP is awesome. Like, it's so sick being out there. Just, the PvP is so active, and there's all this, this tension and all this." And then I hear some people who go, the opening is toxic as fuck. Like, people are colluding to a degree never seen before, and they're not even letting you enter zones, and you have to pay like 1k gold to even go anywhere. And I'm not there, right? I'm not living this, so I really don't feel like comfortable speaking confidently on it. But I'm curious because this is what I hear through the grapevine. It
was very toxic, but at the same time, it's part of it, man. And
exactly. Yeah.
In the end, it's enjoyable. It was an enjoyable experience in the end, even though we made enemies and friends at the same time. But there are now guilds that I don't want to enchant people of anymore.
Yeah.
If they ask me, I'd simply say no, not even for 1,000 gold. You can go and fuck yourself or whatever, like you say on your stream.
I think it's right on the money, dude. I think you're right on the money, dude. And I think it was an event that really you got to see a lot of things that you would have never seen otherwise, right? So where people might have been like, yeah, it was toxic, yeah, it was this and another, but dude, it was a server-wide event where you got to see, these collusions happen. You got to see, all these crazy things that you only get to see once in Classic WoW. And I think for my experience, I think it would have been a lot better if we had more alliance on the server because there wasn't that big war going on. There was more of a war between our same faction, between how many resources can we get fighting with other. I think, but for the most part, we had a pretty good. People at one point were getting pissed at each other because we were killing each other. People would get mind controlled, and then you have, someone. Oh my God, someone just killed Navik, and and then we started killing their people. And then because you have a little bit of warring between the guilds, but at the same time, we actually really got to know other people from other guilds. You got to talk to other people. You got to do all these things, and I'm sure on each server was different, but I think a lot has to do with the server you're on, a lot has to do with the guild that you're in. But for my experience, it was something that is only going to happen once in a lifetime for me, right? I got to experience it. I had a lot of fun. I tried to do as much as I can out of it. And for those people who were saying, I didn't like, maybe those people don't like PvP, maybe those people don't like, whatever, but yeah, there some toxicity, yes, but there was a lot of fun, and I try to
not scare them.
Not scare them, but I'm saying, I look back on it fondly because it was a once in a lifetime event, and I was really happy to be a part of it on the first day.
Yeah, I feel bad when I first talked, I said it was a buggy mess. It was, but it was still amazing from the player perspective, right? Like, I think Blizz could have definitely stabilized servers better, but that doesn't mean that I didn't have a good time seeing it happen and unfold, because I didn't see it unfold either, right? So I was playing at the time, but I wasn't in Celithus. I was like level 10, so I wasn't there. And so it was a lot of fun to see. That was really cool. Skyrim, unfortunately, is a very weird situation where we don't have to worry about PvP, and we didn't have to worry about cross-faction inclusion either. So it was kind of like this weird, like, we're probably the most unique server in that way, because there was no cross-faction inclusion and there was no world PvP.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, imagine Skyrim is World of Warcraft, where the Horde won the war and the Alliance is dead. Basically,
Well, there was cross-faction collusion,
but it's like very rare.
Cells of Alliance left.
There was cross-faction collusion, but it was really only one faction, because it was one faction going over to the other faction just to get something done, but not truly being Alliance players. Yeah.
Well, but I don't consider it collusion because they bought another account to do that, right? Like that's
different.
They weren't colluding with anyone.
On a more simple note, though, I mean, is AQ fun? Do you like it? Is it fun going through it?
I love it.
It's different. It's something new. So at the moment, it's fun.
Yeah, and like on a
month, it's the same and everything else.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys can answer this, and everybody else in the chat who's rating. Like, how fun is AQ? And like, I did the first week, and I was getting burned out on rating. You know, did MC and BWL for 10 months, and I did the first week of AQ. I would have stayed longer if you didn't find a replacement, but grinding out AQ for the next 3 months, I really want to do Nax, and it was a big goal of mine to stay with the same guild from the beginning of Classic till the end, do all 4 raids together, and stay in the same raid, clear Nax, and we'll have a good time. Just curious how fun AQ is right now. You know, is the wait worth it? For me, I had more personal things that made me quit raiding, but I didn't necessarily want to raid for another 3 months just to experience Nax, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. Is it going to be the same thing going into TBC? You know, what can we expect from everything that's coming out as Classic?
Have you raided for long periods of time, Grays, before? Like,
this was my first raiding experience, which kind of I wish it would have been in TBC in hindsight. Now that I've seen Classic raiding roll out, but am I just going to believe the hype again and dedicate my time into a 25-man raid into TBC? Like, what should the average player expect going into TBC after what they've seen in Classic? Is it really going to be that different?
It's not. So
rating real quick, just rating in general is like this. You do progression for a short amount of time and then you farm forever. Mm-hmm. That's rating.
Except progression is really, really short right now, and it can be
right now it is. Yeah, right now it is for sure.
Grays, to answer your question, so I think I think there's different kind of people out there, right? So like I've rated, I got really serious in the rating in the Burning Crusade. I rated like every tier, in TBC, did most of the tiers in Wrath, did Kata at a pretty, high level, started Mythic rating. And it's very much, it's a weird kind of state when you get because there's a high level of burnout, especially the higher level of rating you get. I think, when I started Mythic rating, it was not so much about, getting the gear, not so much about the experience. I think the main thing for me was always when I came to rating was trying to progress this group of people, whether it's 20, whether it's 40, whether it's 25, to get better and better every week and to do better and to do better and to progress as a collective. Like, that's what I love about rating. I love seeing the collective group get better and better every week. So in that sense, right, AQ has been amazing because, we started, doing on the private server, on the Mango server, we started, practicing there, right? Navic came in, we had all the strategies down. We got things down. First week came out, we, one-shot most of the bosses. We had a little bit of trouble. Twin Emps, we wiped a couple times, on Twin Emps. The next very week, we one-shot every single boss in AQ 40, and did it in 2+ hours, right? A little over 2 hours. Now this week, we one-shot every boss again, and we did it in under 2 hours. That's what I love about raiding. I love the progressive growth of the raid. I love seeing people go in there and work together as a team and really, and I think for me, it's like less of that single, experience of an individual, going in there, getting gear. I feel like if you're in it just to get upgrades and just to, this, that, and the other, it's going to get very boring for you very quickly because, especially in vanilla WoW, upgrades come very slowly. It takes a long time. And I feel like a lot has to do with where you are in your life. If you have a lot of things going on in your life, luckily right now, this is what I'm doing. I have time to raid. I have time to commit. I have time to get world buffs. I have time to farm. I have all this time to do this shit. So I get a lot out of it. I get a lot of, really just amazing, feelings when I get 40. We have 39 people get in there, and we do so much better than we were, a year ago when we were doing MC or whatever, almost a year ago when we were a guild that was falling apart at the seams. Now we're one of the best raid top 30 whatever something NA and Horde and stuff like that. So like that progression to me of becoming that guild, like that's what it's all about for me, the growth of the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what Defcamp's trying to say is, like, for me, Grays, I've always been an officer or above in raid groups.
Sure.
So I don't understand the soldier or whatever you would want to call
Sure.
it position. I don't understand it because for me, like Defcamp said, it's all about progressing the raid, and that's where I get my kicks out of it. But as a normal raider, I don't know if I'd...
A lot of times, Melderon, exactly, though. What you said is actually so true. Listen up, guys, if you're in the chat. Because a lot of people, I don't know if it's the majority, but there are some people that are not that selfless. Like, they're there, and they don't even know if they're going to play to the end of the game, right? They don't even know if they're going to play to the end of the expansion. They're just trying to get some PvP gear so they can slap some kids around in PvP, right? They're just trying to get in, and it's like a job for them. They grind it out. They don't find it that fun. They're just trying to get a couple pieces so they can go on their merry way. So...
Yeah,
but all I'm saying, I'm just trying to give you perspective from another side of why it can seem, why people can burn out, right? Like why these things do happen, right? And like Grays, it's cool that you got the rating experience now too, so you just kind of know what it's like, and if it's for you, if it's not for you. It's something that, at least for me, I'd like to raid again in the future too. But it's the type of thing I just know myself well enough now that I probably got like a 2-month ticking time bomb on it before I I can't do it for that long, but. Anyway, anyway, just some perspective. But thinking about Nax, dude, moving into Nax, dude, like, is it, people were thinking that maybe Blizzard would roll out with the pre-nerf Cthulhu, or if they would maybe learn from BWL in the previous raids, maybe jack up the difficulty on AQ, do something spicy as they moved further and further into the changes territory, right? They didn't do that, right? Unless, at least if I'm not seeing it right, it's pretty much consistent with the difficulty level with the previous raids. So it's looking like that Nax will be the same, but maybe Nax is a much more difficult raid.
So I'm pretty confident in saying that I don't think AQ40 is a step up from BWL.
I agree.
I feel that I originally said it would be in my predictions, but that was based upon PTR practice. And again, this is coming from a perspective of a raid that's improved a lot in the last year. So maybe we're in a place that some guilds aren't in, but I don't feel like now, this is like our second week or whatever. We just finished our third week, right? Defcamp just finished our third week.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like it's harder than BWL in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't either. If anything, we're having a better
certain
time.
bosses are though. I would say
I think Firemaw is still more challenging than
once you have the strategy down on Firemaw, it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the same for every boss, actually.
I saw that video you guys put out. Was it the Huhuron fight where you threw on a little NR gear and nobody was taking any damage?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. There was no damage on Huhuron at all. Like when we had NR gear, so you get your warriors to hit cap, and then the rest you just put on NR gear, and that's the thing. Like going into AQ, this is the first raid in vanilla that I never did, right? So I have this idea that Cthulhu's going to be this. This massive boss we're gonna wipe on him all these times. We go in there and one shot him. Like it was so easy compared to what I had in my head, right? And that's in all, honestly, like you can't expect classic WoW to really give you the rating like difficulty kicks that you would get in a mythic raid like you can't expect. It's two different games, right? Like you just can't expect. Like when people say, "Oh my god, classic WoW rating's so easy," this, that, and another. Like it's not. It's so not on the same like level. It's just a totally different thing. And I think people who go in there expecting, and maybe this is for me as well, going in there expecting to have that challenge that you would have in a mythic raid in retail or something like that, it's just not it's not the same. It's not where you're gonna get.
All the people that are making fun of Classic and saying it's easy, did anyone ever say, I don't remember saying this at all, please tell me if I did anyone ever say, like, I can't wait for Classic when raids were hard? I never said that. Like, I don't think anyone did, right?
Well,
so like,
I think many people seem to forget that we are over-prepared now. You're into the raid fully world buff. You know what to do. You know you have to have nature resistance. You know, I mean, you know everything right now. So obviously,
but Dunedain, were you looking forward to raid difficulty as one of the things going back? I wasn't. I was looking forward to.
Well, if I want a difficult raid, I might as well play retail, right?
Right,
Well, it's difficult in a different sense. I don't think it's that simple, right? Like the difficulty in Classic comes with like more painful things that aren't as enjoyable, in my opinion, when it comes to preparing logistically a group of people to go, get fully prepared with consumables, get buffs, and to logistically facilitate that movement of troops into the dungeon and protect everybody's thing. And the difficulty comes by way of parsing. So here's what I want to say. Here's a segue. Type something in the chat if you're live right now, because this is something that was a realization I had in the shower a few weeks ago. Okay, so you know how we're the hardcore challenge, right? We're drinking the Kool-Aid strong. A lot of hardcore players in the chat, right? Right? Hardcore is kind of like parsing. All right, and this is what I mean by that. Not everybody freak out, but what I'm saying is parsing is not like functionality in the game. But yet, when you talk to a lot of raiders, what they're most the thing they enjoy the most about raiding is like the personal improvement. Like they gear up, they become stronger, and they improve, and they're able to do better on the healing meters, do better on the damage meters, be better as a tank, put more threat out. Right? This is a major draw towards raiding, but that's not something built into the sandbox. That's something that's community built. Like they built these sites after the fact, right? Now with hardcore, it's kind of the same thing. Like leveling can be tedious. Anybody can do it and eventually get to 60. But I guess where I'm going with this is I hope that we might be at a turning point where we start viewing Classic WoW as this beautiful world sandbox where we make our own fun with it, as opposed to just accepting the content at face value. Because it's like saying to a little kid, go into a sandbox and make a sandcastle. Any kid can make a sandcastle, but I don't know if that's the best analogy, but we're instead going to that sandcastle and creating our own challenges and communities. And thankfully in 2020, moving into 2021, we have the tools. We have so many tools with Discord, streaming, OBS, YouTube, just rapidly dissemination of information that we can basically embrace and cherish the world again and appreciate it, and because I feel like if left to our own devices, we just disrespect the world as much as possible and try to out-finesse it and do weird stuff with it. But, I don't know if that makes sense.
I 100% agree with what you're saying, because, like, our challenge for us is going in there and doing it every week a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And, like, it's what you put into it. If you're, like, everyone's expecting, AQ is going to be this. No, like, the guilds that are having fun are going in there and, like, okay, we're going to clear it, in 40 minutes this week. We're going to like having those own personal challenges, just like you have in hardcore, right? You could have it a really good time in hardcore, or you can do something like Grays does and go and fucking kill King Bangladesh, right? Sure. Like that's the personal goal that he set up to do. Yeah. And that in turn making it so much more like, fun. Yeah, I mean, that's the key to this game.
I think it's funny that you said getting better on the healing meters because,
I'm getting worse.
The thing is, the more gear you get, the worse you get on the healing meter.
I'm not a healer, so I can't speak that well. But the other thing I was going to say, just to like complete the circuit, so like I talked about the leveling aspect of the hardcore challenge. When it comes to raiding, people have their own systems in place when it comes to Warcraft logs or whatever. When it comes to PvP, we're starting to see people on Twitch doing 2s and 3s going into these war games, right? 10v10. That's not functionality built into the game, right? That's like community-driven arenas, like sort of just janky, arenas that you're setting up yourself, dual tournaments, whatever it might be. So you're seeing that across the board. So here's my thing. Right now, for those of you watching the stream, just look behind you. Like there's the Tirisfal Keep or whatever in Duratar. Like this world is truly a beautiful and rich world. And all the animations and combat, they move so smooth. And it really holds up 15, 16 years into it. So my thing is that, I kind of have like a knee-jerk reaction when people shit on Classic and say it's like a dog shit game or it's too easy, because there's just a straight up therapeutic aspect to this world, man. Yeah. Like just get out there and just start leveling a character and just experience it. The world is really like better than any world I've ever seen in any other game by like a country mile, right?
And that's why I exist in this game, is because I love the fucking world. I love the quests. I love even though I think they're not challenging, honestly. I love the raids. I love the endgame content, and that's why I play it. Like, and honestly, raiding is like marriage. I know you guys are both married, Grays and Kargoz, but like, I've never been, but I've been in long-term relationships, and I think you have to really love raiding, and you have to like go with the ups and downs of it, and otherwise, it just won't. I think it doesn't work for people, and if it's like. But that's okay, and I think there's so much, and Kargoz is showing that there's so much more you can do in this game outside of raiding and PvP. PvP is a whole other thing we haven't even talked about. People just PvP. That's another thing. But
so I love. Sorry, Gary.
You're good.
Gary. No, you've been waiting.
I'm just gonna kind of like. So we've all kind of come to the consensus. We all kind of took a break halfway through. Kargoz, Defcamp, Melderon. Myself, we're all back, we're reinvigorated, we're playing the game, we're making our own fun. And we're kind of coming up with the consensus that we can make our own fun in this game. We'll see what happens with new launch servers. With Blizzard, with Classic, tying up. We've got one more raid to go, AQ's out. You got a couple months before Nax comes out. Is there any merit to making Nax extremely difficult, upping up the I don't know if we should even go into this conversation, but we could either up the difficulty on the bosses or take world buffs off whenever we go into the raid. Is there even any merit talking about it, or should we just let it be, have our own fun with the game and see what is released with Nax Ramus? And then how is that gonna, like, are we gonna learn anything from TBC? So like, I don't know if the release of Nax, because whenever I think of Nax Ramus, I think of the 0.1% of people that cleared Nax. And this prestigious thing, and if they don't fix anything, and literally 75% to 90% of the raiders clear it within the first month, does Blizzard have a responsibility to lean it a different direction? And if they don't, what's that say about TBC? Do you think they're going to give? Do you think that they're going to care about the raids? Do you think they're going to care about the server health? Do you think they're going to adapt at all? Can
I say something first?
Yeah.
Go into that because I feel like I missed quite a few points regarding AQ difficulty and raiding in what it is actually. For me, raiding, I feel is just a way to bring the guild together and have fun weekly. It's not the only thing you do as a guild, but it's something that the whole guild wants to be in. Right, you have plenty of things you can do with your guild, and raiding is like the one thing where everyone comes together, and that's a fun thing. And if it's hard, that's cool and fun. If it's easy, it's still something you go to as a guild, right? I'd rather have it hard, but an easy raid is still a nice thing to hang out in. And we still do MC and Molten Core. That's the same thing in BWL, even though I saw it like 500 times by now. So the raiding in itself, in my opinion, is just a way to have fun with your guild rather than the absolute end goal of the game, right? It's something you can do, and many people like to do it. Sorry.
Great.
I mean, what happened to the love story and recreating an authentic vanilla experience?
No, yeah, that's the second thing, though. Yeah, I'd rather have it really hard, like you describe it, and I'd rather have progress and progression rates and all that stuff. But they're not going to do that.
And here's the thing: Classic and TBC is never going to be hard in the sense that retail rating is, right? Because
there's more than one raid difficulty.
Exactly. Not only that, but it's all done before, right? So here, let me. The question that you posed, Grays, was like, let me go back to it. Is like, can we ever get to that? To have that 0.1% of people who did Nax. Here's the thing, right? People, it's going to happen. People are going to laugh and they're going to say, "Oh my God, only 0.1 of people did this back then." Those people have no idea what it was like back in Classic, playing at that time when no one knew what the fuck they were doing. No one had any idea what was going on. No one didn't know to stack all these world buffs. The game that we are playing now is 100% different than the game was back then. And I think we have to let go of that expectation that we're going to somehow reclaim that, because we're not. We're not going to reclaim that. We could try. We could try to emulate it without getting world buffs.
I think you can.
Yeah, we could try it, like you were saying, Kargoz. We could try to emulate it without getting world buffs, with doing that sandbox thing, like you were saying, by trying to put our own things on it.
You have to jerry-rig it yourself,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but as a whole, like Classic WoW is going to be like things have been done before. People know all the strategies. People know all the mechanics. People know how to get the best, comp. People know how to do all these things. And going into TBC, the question that you said, right? Going into CB, is there a way that we can fix this going into TBC? Is there a way that we can do this? Here's the thing, Grace. We can make it a little bit truer to what TBC was by having TBC play out the way it did back then, right? By having 2.1 start off, having the talents the way they were back then, it's going to, be a little bit different than Classic. And I think that's the way to really, but here's the thing, that takes time, that takes resources, that takes money. That's something that Blizzard might not do. So I think if you lift that expectation up, right, and if you say, look, we're going to go into TBC, we're going to try to fix things that were in vanilla. But the thing is, man, is that Classic WoW is and will always be something that, has already been done, right? It's already been done. We've already been there for a lot of people.
And all this intensity that we talk about, and everybody in the chat, all of this is geared towards raiding and the raiding meta. And that raiding is the final form of Classic, right? And it's like, I just think to myself, like, as someone who enjoys the leveling the most, and like something I've like garnered that understanding after years and years of playing this game, you take the rating out of the equation, and the game, we can go home again. The game is beautiful. The game is like perfectly fine from a leveling perspective, and it's a long, arduous haul all the way to 60, and it's like this beautiful sandbox. So like, I just find it interesting, and I do think that's probably because when people talk about expansions, they're really talking about the rating in an expansion. And if I just had to shoot from the hip here, I feel like 80% of people enjoy rating the most. And I brought this up on stream before. Like, have you guys noticed that when anybody talks about an expansion, they're kind of talking about the rating in the expansion?
No, absolutely. And that's the thing, Kargoz. Like, this is only about the whole thing. Like, PvP is going to be a whole new meta. It's going to be a whole new experience because it's like, the thing with raiding is there's an element of it that isn't human, right? So you have NPCs, you're killing bosses that Blizzard, put in all these fucking, numbers, and this is what you have to kill. There's always going to be an element to it that it's known, right? With PvP and with leveling, there's a unknown, right? You don't know what this player is going to do. You don't know what this comp's going to bring. Obviously, there's going to be the better comps. There's going to be the better, talents that people are going to pick, the better specs. But you have that human element to it where, you can do things that are out of the box. You can do things that are different. When it comes to raiding, you're limited. You're limited with that because we know what's going to happen. We know what the mechanics are. We know what these fights are going to be. And it's never going to be the way it was when it comes to raiding than it was back in 2007, 2006, because it's been done.
But maybe you wouldn't want to be, though. Would you want to go back to those primitive times of like not knowing all the information and playing just with like a lower understanding?
Yeah, you can do that.
I have more fun with the game now than I did even back in the day. I really enjoy the game now, guys. I mean, I have friends.
I think we all do.
Community. I'm not actually trying to go home, whatever that means, because this is more home than it ever was for me. Like, I actually have a community. This is fucking sustaining my life, in many respects. So. Oh, fuck! Wow, I had a really good. Okay, here's the point that I was gonna say. I do think that it's working more than I ever thought it would work, and more than a lot of us thought would work. But would be like a hardcore server option, though. I do think all these issues we have with raiding, or issues, whatever you want to call them, against PvP, raiding, leveling, whatever it might be, all that whole metagame is basically just dumped out of the wastebasket, and it's a whole new world. Like, if you even you as a seasoned raid leader, Defcamp and Melderon, think about truly raiding on a hardcore server, first of all, you may have no interest in it. It may just be a colossal waste of time. But people just meme about Molten Boar, they meme about Blackwing Lair, and it is kind of memeable because a lot of the shit just falls over, right? But in a world where you had one life, first of all, it would be incredibly immersive and terrifying. It would almost be like that. Is it a movie, Ready Player One? Remember that one movie where if you die in game, you die in real life. It would feel like that. It would basically buff the world without actually buffing the world. 500x or something, and nerf you. And I think it would be a cool experiment to try out, man. And I think the game could.
I do too, dude.
Yeah.
So let's talk about TBC. All right, whenever Classic first came out, everyone was like, 1.5, 2-year lifespan, just like it was in vanilla. Now that Classic has rolled out, dude, I don't want to look at a fresh Classic server. I don't want to see it for more than a year. We're coming up on a year right now. Is this enough time for you guys? What do you expect for TBC? I think in the Burning Crusade, it's been really interesting for me. Before Classic came out, I played it when I was a kid, but I had this grandiose idea. I wanted to experience all the content. Give me 2 years to do it. Now that we're a year into the game, I don't know how excited I'm going to be about TBC for a year, 2 years straight. Wrath of the Lich King for a year, 2 years straight. Everyone's gonna destroy the content in the first 3 months. I've turned into a fresh boy. I wish I would have played private servers, all the hype about private servers. Now I just want to play a fresh classic, a fresh TBC, a fresh Wrath for 3 months and move on. Do it again.
There's a lot more to do in TBC, I think, though, Grays.
Okay, but let's learn from it. Is it not going to be the same thing as Classic? Dude, we're going to blow through TBC content. There's going to be replayability in arenas, but the raiding content. Why? But
you're only looking at raiding, though. Like you're talking about, what Kargoz just said. You're focusing on the raiding element, and I think we're a year into Classic, right? And just about we're at AQ, right? And I would very much probably say that there's going to be a good amount of time, after Nax till we have to wait for TBC, right? So there's going to be a big lull. It has to happen every expansion, right? Every expansion comes out, there's a big lull from the last raid tier it didn't really happen like that but there's usually a very big lull in between the last raid tier and the next expansion. So in that time, you could be doing hardcore, you could be doing all these other things. With TBC coming out, right? I put a lot of time and effort into my character, right? A lot of people got, rank 14, did all these things. Like, there's no way that you're going to tell me that I have to fucking restart a character in TBC and do that all. Like, I 100% want to bring my character over to TBC, put a heavy gold cap, right? Make it 2,000 gold, whatever, per character. I don't know, something like that. The whole thing about me for in an MMO is progressing your character, right? Yeah, I'm gonna make a blood elf. I'm gonna level him from 1 to 70 to get make it tankable. Like, the whole point of this game is to carry over your achievements, right? Is to all these things that I got my fucking rank 11 mounts. I got my all my tier gear. I got all these memories that I had, all these things that I have. I want to bring that with me over to TBC. People who got fucking their Karaji war, got the hit the gong, all these things. Like, those are achievements that I'm never going to forget, things that I want to bring over to my character. I think it would be great if they, maybe started some fresh classic servers or, whatever, if people want to do that. But in the main element of the core is to bring my character over to TBC, to have that experience. If it's a year and a half, I'm very happy with the raids coming out in the way they did, doing PvP on the side. Like, in TBC, there's going to be a lot more to do in the off time than there was in Classic. There's not a lot to do.
Sure.
You have arena, you have ranking, trying to get the highest arena rating. You have heroic dungeons. You have all these things, and then leveling alts, doing hardcore. There's so much more to do in the off time in TBC than there is in Classic.
Here's one thing that applies to all of those too, and this is one of the things that I appreciate the most out of the hardcore, because I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm a competitive person. I don't want to feel like I'm doing anything less than other people. I'm trying to keep up, right? I feel that pressure in life when it comes to keeping up with friends and family and staying on par for the course of where I'm supposed to be in life. I feel that in every aspect, and for me, I think that's something that saps a lot of the enjoyment out of the game for me. As I play WoW, I always feel this constant pressure to perform, to push harder, to go faster, to get stronger, right? So you can be respected on the server, do all this. I don't know if this applies to you guys in the same way. Maybe it doesn't. I feel like some of you guys, maybe, Def and Mel, you guys have transcended that a bit. Maybe that doesn't, weigh on your shoulders as much. But one of the things that I really personally enjoy about this hardcore challenge is it's a solo challenge. It still has a competitive spirit to it, but it's like your own mini fresh. You said you're a fresh boy, right, Grace? You can create your own little fresh whenever, start whenever, and you don't feel bad at all about taking your time to go do stuff to get a little stronger, because like I've said before, as this little soundbite, for the first time in WoW history, really, faster is not always better, right? The benchmark for success here is surviving, right? Which is, it's different. Like, I've never, it's kind of a community janky thing we've set up, but it's cool. I feel like I don't, in the past I would never level fishing, because I'd be like, why the fuck would I level fishing? I'd rather just do something more productive. But now I'm starting to level fishing and cooking and stuff like this, because it changes the meta, right? You're just trying to do things to get a little bit stronger. I don't know if that even makes sense, but that's one thing that allows me to have more fun with the game, truly have fun, as opposed to chasing a carrot on a stick that's dangling in front of me. I feel like I ate the carrot. I feel like I have the carrot in my mouth. I'm just chewing on the carrot.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I guess for me, there was never a carrot, right? So it's. I think Kargoz is you have this kind of idea of what you wanted to achieve, and you didn't do that. And I think for us, it's like I don't care what people think about me, right? Number one, like I don't care what anyone think. Like anyone Scarum can say Melderon's a shit
What
shaman.
if you weren't on Scarum though? What if you're getting ganked out in the open world? You go out and you just get clapped, and then like people are like, "Yo, Melderon's a joke, dude. He's getting."
Well, hey, I'm still playing.
Yeah.
Like I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. Like when it comes to you guys, I do because I care about you guys, right? But any Joe Schmo, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like who are they? You know. So it's like.
Yeah, who the fuck is this person?
So people will say to me, "Well, Melderon should be in the best guild because he knows so much about shaman." No, I don't. I have to be in the guild that I want to be in and play how I want and have fun. Like that's like for me. I think hardcore for you is like raiding for me. Like it's a personal goal for me. Like it's.
So you're chewing on the carrot. I think this is important. Like instead of chasing the carrot on a stick that you never achieve, when you're raiding and you're doing what you like to do, you feel like you're eating the carrot, and there's no chasing of it. You're just straight up enjoying just eating all the tasty flavors.
But nice. I get that with hardcore too, right? Okay. If I get one of my guys to 60, I'll also feel that.
Yeah.
So like for me I have a smorgasbord, right? Everything's in front of me. Rating's a piece of the pie, and then I have like. PvP, I got rank 11. I didn't get to 14 because I didn't have the time. But I got to 11.
I feel the same way, dude. I really.
And now I have hardcore is the dessert. I have everything. Like for me, I just don't understand why it has to be
all or nothing.
Bracketed. Yeah, I don't get that. But
it's true. It's true.
I think like a lot of it's like what's the rush? Like why? I think a lot of us have these goals that we want to achieve, and we had all these things. Oh, I want to be at the top. I want to be at the top echelon of this. Top echelon of that. I think like for me, one of the best things I did was like I want to just fucking have fun. Who cares about Defcamp? I'm not the number one priest on this or whatever. Like first of all, healing parses like whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. But like I just want to be able to say that I fucking had fun playing last night, and I did. Like I'm doing all the things that I want to do. I have a great group of fucking people to raid with. I have my brother that I can do fucking hardcore with. I have so much fun doing all these different things. Who cares if you're number one at this or number two at this? If that's really what you want to do and you go for it and you strive for it, I mean, great, that's great. But like, if there's a point where you stop having fun doing that, you really got to take a look at like, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. What's the point of doing this if I'm not having fun? Like when a game becomes a job. I remember when I was raiding and I was like raiding back in the day. I was like this, back in Legion or whatever, like this is more of a job than anything. I'm not having fun. I'm going in there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And like, that's at the point when I think I have to say, let me get out of this game what I love, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I can do that with raiding at the level that I do. I can do that with hardcore. I can do that with PvP. And, in TBC, I think for me, it's going to even be more so, right? Because TBC is my favorite time of the game. Like there's nothing better for me than TBC. TBC Priest is perfect. I love everything about it. I love PvP. I love Arena. I love the raids. The raids, like, am I going in there thinking that, oh my god, everything's going to be so difficult? No, like, but I have fun. Like, is it challenging? Yes, there are challenges. You're gonna be challenged when you're first doing heroics with shit gear. You're gonna have a challenge when your first time's in the raid, this, that, and the other. But it's not gonna be challenging to the extent of doing a fucking mythic fight in retail WoW. And if that's what you want out of the game, go play retail. Like there's something for everyone. You know what I mean?
Can I say I strongly disagree on that last point.
Which one?
Which
if
point?
you enjoy a challenge, go play retail.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you enjoy the challenge of mythic raiding, go play retail. I'm saying there's still a challenge in TBC. Like there's a challenge for like there's different challenges, right, for everyone. What I'm saying is like there's gonna be a challenge of like doing the raid for the first time. Like healing in TBC is like I love it. For me, there is a challenge to it, right? There's mana management. There's different ranks of heals, all these different things you have to do. Like I'm just saying, if you want the challenge of having 100 attempts before you kill a boss, and then have that feeling when you finally kill it, that there's retail, right? If you want the challenge of having a progression of like going in there with the raid and doing something that you might sit there, you might whip a couple times, but you're progressing as a character, you're progressing with the guild, you're progressing, like that's more for what I want. Like I've done the mythic raid scene, I've been there, I've wiped 150 times on bosses and gotten nothing out of it, because to me is it a challenge in the sense of like is I mean, there really isn't more to do healing. Like, there's not like there's more buttons. There might be, okay, you got to move out of the way of this, you got to do this. But all there is there's just more shit that can go wrong. That's literally all there is. There's like,
I remember you or Melderon saying in vanilla you have MC, which is like Rate Finder, BWL, normal, AQ, heroic, and then Nax, mythic. I wouldn't be mad if Nax was like mythic level. I know it cannot be because we did it before, and you know.
I wouldn't be mad either. I think Defcamp's just saying that that doesn't exist though.
Yeah, it doesn't. But to come back on Gray's point, did we give up on like the dream of having that old experience back of those difficulty levels?
You can do it, but we just have to do it in a different way. Like I said, like if we're at a turning point.
Well, so you have to now.
Greenilium or whatever that thing is called, right? Like that's the
right.
Yeah.
You have to do it a different way because Blizzard doesn't let us do it.
Well, that's what I'm kind of. I hope this isn't a bad take here, but I'm coming to realization. You know, it's felt like the community has always wanted to have their voice heard, and we've gotten to this point. We got the AQ. You know, there's some speculation. Dude, they should make Cthulhu super hard. They should take world buffs out of raids. They should buff Nax to make it this great experience. And I'm just coming to this realization, and maybe Defcamp and Melderon, you guys have already come to it because you sound level-headed about everything, and it's just like, why even try? Let's just let it roll out and screw the authentic vanilla experience. We're going to get what we get and move on. And maybe I just need to let that go.
There's no way to please everybody, though, Grace. When we're doing this hardcore stuff, you can get a little taste of what Blizzard has to deal with. And again, like, I could care less about the politics or whatever. I just try to stay in my own lane and play hardcore and pet my dogs and do my own thing.
I 100% get what Grace is saying, though. I don't really want to let go of that. But you kind of have to if you want to enjoy the game. If you keep wanting something that isn't there, then
exactly.
Take the fun away, right? But I still want them to change things. I still want them, if they do a new
100%,
classic server one time in the future, I want them to make it harder. And there's a couple of ways they can do it.
To make it more, to try to emulate that experience, the classic experience.
Either change.
What's so important about it being official? Why couldn't you just create that meta yourself? Is what I'm saying.
Well, you can, but it's nice if they enforce it as well.
Yeah, you can. People say just stuff like that. Yeah. Well, people say don't raid with world buffs. You can't not raid with world buffs. So find a group that doesn't raid with world buffs. It's not competitive. You can't do it.
But you don't. And you can create your own competitive meta. Is what I'm saying.
You can. Yeah, you can, and that's cool about the game. You can do the hardcore challenge. You can level 1 to 60 by your own.
You can create your own raiding meta. If you love raiding, I don't really love raiding, but if you guys are passionate about raiding, you can start your own raiding league, and you can go out there and say, in our raiding league, we have sponsors from X, Y, and Z. It's going to be the hottest thing ever. We're going to go into this raid, and we're going to smash it with no world buffs. We're going to do it in full green gear, like whatever they're doing.
Kunjin TV, he got 3,000 people consistently watching him clear raid content in green gear.
But at the same time, it's a little bit stupid as well. You know, it's nice that you can do it, but it's also kind of stupid because I wanted to do Molten Core and all the 40-man raids when I played Cataclysm, and there were guilds doing it, but with 15 men instead of 40, and it's not the same thing. You know, it's better if Blizzard can enforce it to you, and if they don't do it, then you have to do it yourself, like I do with the hardcore mode.
You gotta give this whole timeline a go through first. You can't just. Blizz is about all inclusivity, right? That's their biggest thing. They can't leave no man behind. That's like their motto, right? That's like their guiding light in everything they do.
Where they falter,
which is exactly the opposite of what classic or vanilla was founded upon.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is though, but there's still a company that has to make money, right? If you make the raid content so hard, and there's one raid difficulty in these games, right? If you make that one raid difficulty so hard that only 10% of the player base is going to play it, everyone else is going to not play the game.
That's not true. If they do that for the last raid, that's not true. No,
maybe the last raid, okay, maybe you can get away with that for the last raid, but I think
it's like going up the more raids that release, then I think it's perfectly fine.
People expect a lot more out of games now than they did 15 years ago.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think people expect exactly the same. I just have way more information. That's the only difference.
Why did WoW turn into the game it is now? Because the player base has changed. Because you want to see the raid content? Here's a raid difficulty where you can literally AFK through the whole thing.
Well, the player base is basically the same, I think. If you asked back in the day what people wanted, then they describe what we have now retail. But do people really want it? No. Because I probably asked things they have in retail. I don't like it now.
There's still a shit ton of people playing it, though.
I mean, that's...
Just to chime in, I kind of understand. Like, from my perspective, when I look at the new modern retail game, it looks like a big bloated mess. To be honest with you, it looks like a website that has too many features, that has no direction and no
100%,
backbone. And
absolutely.
if you're a new player and you're like, oh, World of Warcraft, let me go try this game out, and you hop into Shadowlands or you hop into a new one, you must feel so lost in the sauce that you don't even know where to start, that you probably just close the window and you're like, I'm done. The thing about
I told you about my experience, right, going into BFA. What it was like?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably in the same boat. It's everything that with the hardcore stuff too, right? I get a little tiny 1% micro fraction of a taste of that because everybody has suggestions, and I could see like how that would happen, right? People put suggestions. Why don't you just do this? What about this rule? What about this rule? Like as Gray says, water's going to find a crack, right? And you just get like a bazillion suggestions, and then it just. I can see how it happens, right? I can see how you go from point A to point B. People want to be it stronger. There's no appealing to appeasing to everybody. So the way you could appease everybody is if you create this amazing sandbox world and you say, "Oh, you want that? Well, we're going to give you the tools to go make that. You know, if you want the raids harder, if you want the world to be this way, you want the meta to be this way, you have the tools, you have the world now. Go make it happen. You know, like if you want raiding to be different, go make it different. If you want,
and I think like we saw on Warcraft logs, they added the non-world buff. Thing in there. So there are people that they do track people's progression on Warcraft logs for people that are not world buffed. So,
but let's be honest, once you open up that doping, once you say, oh yeah, you can dope, everyone's gonna fucking dope, right? Because number one, it looks better because you see all these big numbers and flashy numbers. That's what everyone wants to see in the game, right? And number two, if one DPS is getting, if one Fury Warrior is getting world buffs, now your tank has to rush, you're gonna wipe, right? That's the world buff effect, and that's how powerful they are. And that's why I made that video, and I'm thinking about going back to doing a revisit.
You should, because so many people were shitting on what was that one that dev who was like, you got really
Kevin Jordan got mad at me.
Yeah.
I said it was one of the worst gameplay decisions in classic in Warcraft history. Yeah. And he just turned the video right off when he heard that. Yeah. On one stream.
Again, this is the thing that's only affecting rating, though. At the same time, it could just be a nice thing that affects the open world, the buffs and stuff like that. But its effect in practice on rating, I can definitely see, the destructive effects on it. But I don't know if
Jordan got mad at you because you said world buffs.
I said it was one of the worst. I said in the video, Taljal's script, by the way, but I was reading it. I said. And I agree with it wholeheartedly. That's why I made the video. And I said, I think allowing world buffs to be stacked is one of the worst gameplay decisions ever made by Class WoW developers. And he just literally turned the video off as soon as he heard that.
You said classic WoW or vanilla WoW?
Vanilla. I said Warcraft, World of Warcraft history or something like that. I said,
It's funny that you say that because I've been watching Kevin Jordan's videos lately about game balance and stuff and MMO optimization. It makes so much sense what he says there.
I'm not saying he's not a brilliant guy. I think he's a brilliant guy.
The beginning of
and that wasn't a personal attack on him in any way. I just said that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Kevin Jordan, you suck. It wasn't. But I feel like he kind of took it that way.
Yeah.
And I just think it was an oversight. I don't think they actually thought about it.
No, indeed.
100%.
I guess in vanilla that's fine because no one abused it, but now it isn't fine anymore, so they should change it. But I think that's the issue, right? In classic, they don't want to change it because I don't know why.
It's easy to go back in history and look back to old wars or battles or decisions and go, that is the dumbest decision ever. But in the context of the time, it was a different world with different tools. They couldn't have even anticipated that we would have all these tools that we have today with the internet, with Twitch, with the rapid dissemination of information back and forth, the cross-faction collusion. There are just be no possible way, given the technological limitations. I think that they probably didn't even know if the game was going to last. Do you think, did they really think back then that 16 years later people would still be playing this game that they were making back in 2003?
It can never be vanilla WoW. It's
Kargoz.
I mean, this is the thing. Just try, humor me, think of the world as a sandbox. You have these buffs. They're just things that you can use for your own game within the game and your own meta that you want to create within the game, and you can choose to implement them or strip them away. And if you're passionate about raiding, and you say you think world buffs are a bad decision, make a competitive raiding league and be like, yo, we're going to raid with no world buffs. And even all the people that are, the people that are sweaty or are passionate about raiding, they're going to be drawn to that, I think, and the people that...
Well, yeah, in the video, Kargoz, I literally said, keep them in the game, just remove them when you enter a raid instance. That's what was my only suggestion.
Yeah, or don't allow them to stack, something like that.
I think they're beautiful. I think they're a beautiful thing to have for PvP and leveling and dungeon. I think it's great that you can be like, oh man, I'm gonna go to Orgrimmar and get this, and I'm gonna beat this elite that I couldn't beat before in my leveling journey. That's awesome, right? I just don't think they should be allowed in raids. That's my only thing with them.
It wouldn't solve it though. I mean, it would solve something, but
it would solve some things, but the content would still be done, right? Obviously, it wouldn't be like,
I think. Well, here's the thing, right? Because this is we're at the point now where it's already I mean it's like I think what we should look forward to is like the future. Like let's focus on trying to make TBC the best that we can, and I think classics. We're halfway through or whatever. Or almost towards the end now. We're at phase 5, whatever. So like when it comes to TBC, what can we do to make our TBC experience? What can we learn from
I have an idea. This should be my response to that, Defcamp. And I agree with Grace. We're going to go into TBC, and it's going to be more of the same meta we have now. There will be an X Factor. The X Factor will be Arena. Arena will be infinite replayability, a whole nother bucket of content to dabble in and enjoy, right? But the multi-box, sweaty raid meta, I don't think the fights in TBC are going to be significantly hard enough that it, changes people's perception on things. They're going to be harder, but they're going to still crush through them at an insane rate. So moving into TBC, I would just try to encourage the community to think about the game differently, more as a sandbox, and have the community support of all the influencers, streamers, and stuff like that to view it in that way. Because maybe you enjoy the meta as it currently stands, though, and maybe that's a good amount of people. So if you do, then it's going to be more of the same, and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking more of the lines of what can we try to have Blizzard do? Because I think
this whole conversation, we've said Blizzard won't do anything, and I'm trying to wrap a bow on the conversation because we can bitch and complain all we want. But
what I'm trying to say is Blizzard, we know that they've made changes before when the player base Classic wouldn't have came out if we would didn't bitch and complain. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We bitch and complained enough so that Classic came out, right? So what I'm saying is they specifically said that we're gonna if the player base wants TBC to come out, we're gonna do this. So but I think they put the polls out there. We can't just say that we have no effect. We have to say there is an effect that the community does have, right? So what I'm saying is, what can we say? What can we do? And I think what Kargoz said, the community, the change, that's one thing, but we have to give Blizzard the option to say, okay, here's a problem, here's a solution. Here's a problem, here's a solution.
Yeah,
and hope that they will listen, right? I'm not saying that everything is going to be they're going to listen to us 100%, but if we just say nothing and do nothing, then the problems are going to continue the way they were.
I think one thing realistically Blizzard could do, that I think they possibly could do, is just to support little initiatives like the hardcore community that we have going on, right, Grace? If they just hit us up and they were like, yo, we see you with the hardcore community, we're not going to make a hardcore server, but at least we're going to try to answer some tickets for you. If you guys get 60, we'll try, because I still have my ticket pending, and I'm just out here damn, bro, I can't even get my ticket answered. The time is going up on it. It was 3 days at first, now it's 4 days, 20 hours before I can get a response. If I was Blizzard right now,
us as content creators, we kind of have that, we kind of have that, I think, role where we have to at least try. I mean, you're shaking your head, Grace, but
I'm just unmotivated, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I understand, but you being unmotivated doesn't change the fact that this is what we should do. I know you're where you're at, but it's not going to change me from wanting to make TBC a better experience.
What do we fix though? We can fix it ourselves. I mean, I'm saying is that
the servers that needs to be changed. We need to fix the fucking imbalance. That's one of the
faction
big
imbalance.
things.
Okay, that you gotta have me sold on. If they did something like the faction-based queue, wasn't that where we last leaded up to that? Where they would say you would hit a queue if the faction becomes imbalanced past a certain extent. Right. That's a no changes change, right? There's two different types of changes. There's changes where you go in and you buff the content and make everything 50% harder, and then there's another type of change where you put a faction queue to try and set the environment up for success better. That type of stuff.
I mean, realistically, let's look realistically. Would I love TBC to start out in a 2.1 way where it's 2.1 count?
You can't do that from a game design.
That's what I'm saying. Let's look realistically. From a game point, for how much money it's going to take, for how much
no, that's not why.
Hire. But what I'm saying is they have the data, right? They have the 2.1. But that, what I'm saying is, I don't think that's a realistic goal. I think a realistic goal is trying to fix the faction imbalance. Another realistic goal is trying to, I think that issue right there, let's make sure that not too much gold gets brought into TBC. Let's put a fucking cap on the amount of gold that's brought in. I think that these are things that we have to focus on, that if we don't fucking say anything now, then, and we complain about it later, you bitch and complain about it later, well, where the fuck were we before TBC came out trying to fucking, get some of this shit to happen? That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
so if nothing changes, though, will you have fun in TBC? TBC rolls out exactly how Classic rolled out. Are you still going to have fun in TBC?
I'll have fun for 3 months and then just want another fresh.
That might be a success, though.
I will have fun, but I'd like to see it different. But I still have fun right now.
It's important to ground ourselves that way, right? Because we talk a lot of shit, right? But at the same time, we're all still playing Classic right now. And like, if TBC rolled out in the exact same way Classic rolled out, I'd find my own fun if necessary. I don't think I'm gonna have a light bulb switch and I'm gonna start raiding a lot.
We shouldn't try to do our best to
exactly that.
I guess I'm having fun because this is what I accept. This is what I expected, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what. I didn't expect anything more than this, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like, Classic wasn't supposed to be like the guiding light that's going to make it's an old game. Like, I wanted to go revisit the past. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play a game that I didn't get to fully experience when I was a kid. I was in the 20s. When I was in my 20s, right? So I wanted to go back and do all the raid content. I wanted to PvP rank. I wanted to play with my brother. I wanted to play with other people. I wanted to have a raid. I wanted to have a guild. That's what I wanted to do. And for me, except for the minor things like batching is weird, and there's these little wonky things about the game that I didn't expect. Outside of those things, I'm getting exactly what I expected to get.
So the main thing that's outside of that, though, that goes above mechanics and all that, is the server imbalance. I think that could have been done in a way better way, right? And that's the type of thing that almost is anybody fighting that watching right now? Like, Blizzard could have probably handled the server imbalance in a better way. I don't know. It was probably unintentional. Like, the incentive isn't there for WoW to fail for them.
But lag, dude. The fucking server instability too. Like, it is embarrassing that fucking European basement servers had 14,000 people in there and had better fucking lag than fucking they do right now on Skyrim.
It's horrible. Like, if you log in, it's like,
it's embarrassing, dude.
It is.
I mean, I would deal with the lag happily if the servers were a little bit more balanced, right? Because that is like the number one thing. If we all had to point towards one thing that can set a server up for toxicity and failure, is if it's really, really imbalanced. And TBC, moving into TBC looking ahead, they say allegedly the balance will be even worse in TBC, and there will be even more Horde players in TBC. So
exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, no.
That's why we need to fucking. That's why we. The Blood Elves, dude. Blood Elves. Everyone wants to
Blood Paladins are okay, bro.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. This is why these are things that if we're gonna bitch and complain about later, like, why not try to do whatever we can now to make this situation a little bit better. Talk about the server population, talk about the instability on the servers, shit like that. Talk about the economy, like these are the things that we can have an impact on. But Melderon's 100% right. Like, what do I expect out of TBC? I expect it to probably be 2.4.3 talents. I expect the raid content, but like, I'm going to be playing the shit out of TBC. I'm going to be doing fucking arena. I'm going to be doing raids. I'm going to be doing fucking hardcore, and I'm going to have fun fucking doing it. I know I am, because if it's anything like Classic is, I play this game every fucking day of my life, and I enjoy it. TBC for me is the best that WoW ever was, and if it's literally, even if the fucking problems we have to servers, all these things, I'm going to be playing it every fucking day as long as I'm still alive on this fucking earth. Like. But it doesn't mean I can't want it to be a little bit better.
100%. Well, can I say something that's gonna maybe it might piss some people off? Get ready. Type something in the chat if you're alive. I don't know. But what? So we're talking. I think it's based for us to want Blizzard to do better, and like to want them to try to give our feedback to them to do better. But at the same time, Blizzard might be looking back towards us and saying like, all right, you guys are talking all this shit about the game and stuff. How about you guys, as some of the influencers or whatever you want to call them, make the community better, dude? Or maybe they're partially responsible for the community, because the community, I do also think, could be a lot more like unified and wholesome and shit, dude. There's maybe it's just being a mod on Discord or whatever, but like, people are so fucking mean to each other, dude. They're so mean to each other.
Look at your community. Look at your community. Look at our community. They are 100% better. Like, I think that is the best part of the community.
Our community.
Everyone that comes in our chats and shit like that, in Gray's chat and Kargoz chat, they are the fucking best people that I've ever seen. Like, we have some of the most amazing people in this community.
How do we make the community better, though? As I'm saying, like, how would we spearhead that to try to make the community just a little bit not as mean-spirited with shit, bro. Like, people are out here trying to fucking... I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. I feel like we're all getting older. We're too old for the drama.
Well, there's a bunch of like spurgy mongoloids that basically think it's fun to say dumb shit. Like, dude, there was a period, Kargoz, where I was banning a person from the Scarum Discord every day. Like,
oh yeah,
you know,
of course, yeah.
And you were doing it too, and because they're like saying racist shit. I'm like, what are you fucking 10? And they probably were, right? Yeah. Or like severely mentally, you know, challenged. I don't know, but they think it's fun to like say the N-word and be like those people don't deserve to be in. Like, let's just get rid of them, right? Like, that's just like it needs to be policed. But the problem is Blizzard's not policing anything, right? So it's up to us.
It's up to us.
You and I, Kargoz,
hardcore challenge. Community is actually fucking solid, and we're fighting for it, man. We're fighting.
I
to
think
keep
WoW
it.
is a pretty good community, but I think that the game makes it easy to have a good community. If you have something like a MOBA, people hate each other because they have to play with each other, and they think they all suck. And in WoW, you kind of have to play with each other, which makes it already easier to have a good community. But I mean, I don't have any complaints about the WoW community. At least,
do you think there's a big difference though between EU and NA? Community-wise?
Is there? I've really no clue about that.
I think EU is more mature, in my opinion.
It might be. I don't know. The thing is, you have to avoid websites like MMO Champion forums, because then you have like retail against classic and those kind of stupid things. But as long as you stick with just classic or just retail,
I love the retail classic arguments. They're so good. I love them. It's like who?
You're comparing apples and oranges, dude. And seriously, yeah.
Yo,
I think I'm in the best guild I've ever been in, and that's so much.
Same here, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
you know what's a key thing to making the community better too, man? I'm gonna straight say it is honestly the streaming and getting more people streaming and getting on and like I don't know if you sense this too, Grays, but like the vibes that go around when like people are just constantly hosting each other in a community back and forth and helping people like grow their channels that are just starting to get into streaming. You're like making new friends. I find the streaming like super wholesome, man. Like,
it's 100% true. Look at Kigo. He hit me up, Kargoz, after you hosted him. I'm sorry, and was so ecstatic and so happy, dude. Like, you made his fucking week or month, bro. Like, he was almost in tears. He was so happy, dude. And like, that is fucking beautiful. Like, that to me is one of the most amazing fucking things that, I feel like, you know, yourself too, Kargoz. Like, we've all tried to, but you have the numbers and the power to do it. Like, how so many people, like, look at Nom Nom, dude. Like, at one point I looked, you know, he's got like a couple hundred people watching him, like, just started streaming. Like, how fucking amazing is that to be able to do that, to be able to help someone that way? Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of these conversations get heated, but like not in a bad way. We all love each other in this group, but I think it's like one of the things you have to realize is like all of us have, like, Kargoz, you particularly, like, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be having these conversations. We wouldn't have 30,000 subscribers. We wouldn't be, you know, you are a champion of the community, dude. You really, really are. And I think that, you know, your ability to kind of rally people and bring us all together, like, it's honestly, dude, you've changed our life for the better. You have. And I think you're changing.
I wouldn't be able to do wouldn't, Kargoz, if it wasn't for you, I would have not been able to make this fucking change my life and go full time as a streamer. Right. Like, I hope you like that. Like,
yeah. Putting this all together, as a whole, this community and what the hardcore movement is doing, the people that are excited in the community, people are excited to play the game again. People are excited. It's just wholehearted, just sharing the wealth with everybody. You know, they're sharing the experience. I had a comment from somebody say, man, you know, I was just playing WoW just to play WoW, but now that hardcore is out, I'm really engaged in it again, and it's great to see it. And people that even, like, we'll host people, and we've seen Nom Nom, Kigo, a lot of people have followers, and it feels really wholesome, but also people recording locally and sharing their stream highlights, sharing their death clips, and getting a reaction from the community. There's no room for banter. There's no room for just bad talking. There's no room for, hey, I'm better than you. It's all, for some reason, it's all love, and everybody has a part. Everybody is noticed, and it's infectious. And so I'll tell you what, you know, Kargoz is getting heated about, hey, make your own raid environment if you don't like the current raid environment, because he's seeing it. We're seeing the possibilities of making your own community, and we've done it with the leveling community. I'm big into leveling, and if there are people out there that are big into raiding, hardcore is a testament to show that it's possible to do whatever you want with the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the kind words, man. It's really like it's touching. Like when you guys did that ceremony the other day in Thunderbluff, that shit was like a top 5 moment in the IRL hardcore challenge. But it's the type of thing that we're getting older, man. Like I'm about to turn 30 in December, and it's like I don't. This is probably the closest thing for me that makes me feel like I'm doing some sort of positive change for the world, right? It's just a tiny game in a huge sea of games, right? But just making a few people's lives a little bit better in this and bringing some people together, that's as close as it gets to like, a positive legacy for me. So I appreciate it, and I hope this is going to keep going, right? So
yeah, but I think like eventually this is going to come to an end, right? I think that I'm not to be a doomer here, but what I'm saying is like everything has an end, and the classic timeline is going to be over at some point. But I think the next step, I don't know, man. Like all I'm trying to say is like we should really think about the kind of like ideas that are in our head and how we can think about because I don't know, man. I think the next step for all of us is to really consider maybe thinking about like hiring a couple devs and trying to get a game out, man. Like
I love that, dude.
I mean, I know it's long down the road, but I feel like everyone here has the right mindset to kind of like, and with other people that we know in the group that we talk to, and we have a lot of good people in our like. Maybe we should start thinking a little bit bigger. I don't know.
Right. There's also the other side. We're talking about Classic Plus, and we've been talking all stream about how to make the game better. We're literally making our own Classic Plus right now. We have our own community in 2020 streaming, sharing clips. We have our own Discord for it. We have our own website. The website's amazing. We've got a Hall of Legends. We are WoW developers right now. And I don't say that in an egotistical way. Like I don't care about anything like a position. I'm saying Classic WoW Hardcore, we made Classic Plus. It's respected. It's got its own website.
It's kind of true. And the cool thing is, dude, it's kind of infectious because we're just having so much fun. I feel like people from the outside looking in, watching hardcore, they're like, yo, how are they having that much fun right now?
I know.
Yeah, and if I can share something, it was funny, man. I remember this group, and I remember Kargoz specifically making the comment, like, we're going to be in Invictus whenever Classic launches. We're not going to join Fairlina. Because Fairlina is the community server, and that's
the streamer server. Yeah,
it's the streamer server, and that's what everybody thinks of whenever they think of the streamer server. And Kargoz made a comment like, "Hey, we're going to be having so much fun on Skyrim, nobody can shit on us." And it didn't really work out. We had Onslaught, and the server imploded. The guild kind of blew up. But for the first time a year later, we're having so much fun, and no one can really shit on you because we made our own fun out of the game. So it took a while. But it's, I after this stream as well, it's like I'm going away from the idea of I want Blizzard to make the game better. I want them to fix it. I want them to make sure TPC and Wrath are perfect whenever it comes out, assuming it does. And I'm just moving on to the fact that, we have enough people in 2020. We have a big enough community. We're growing at a rapid rate. There's over 5,000 people in the hardcore Discord, and the expectation of potential growth, I swear I'd put the house on it, man. This is going to be the next big thing in Classic WoW. So it's really cool. This is Classic Plus, and that's what I continue to tell people is we're in the middle of creating our own game. It's kind of weird, but it's definitely the silver lining.
I don't think I've ever had as much fun in any video game point blank period than playing specifically the hardcore challenge in Classic WoW. There's something so incredibly immersive to me about having one life. That's not a new thing. That's been around forever, right? Other games I think have done that type of thing, right?
Diablo and stuff, but still, yeah.
For some reason, in this exact world, in this vanilla world, it feels beyond like more right than rain. Like you just have to try it. You really do just have to try it. And like some people that are knocking it, saying it's easy or whatever, if it's easy for you, man, great for you, man. You're a beast, honestly. But I do feel like the tuning of the difficulty too, when you have one life, it's not too difficult and it's not too easy. It's actually perfect, and everybody's like rooting for each other, and it's almost like real life. Because Melderon, I'm talking. I don't know why I'm speaking to you, but you just have the most stripes on us because you're the oldest by a little bit. But it's just, life isn't filled with dangers and perils every second you go out. For the most part, it's kind of safe, right? Like you go to the market, it's a lot of mundane normalcy. You go out, you live your life, you take the bus, you take the train, you're flying around. you just have these pockets of danger in real life. You might have a handful of times where your IRL hardcore challenge is really put at risk, right? And it's kind of the same thing when you do the hardcore challenge inside vanilla WoW. It's not always action-packed unless you're Blizzcon and he's always out there pulling elites, and doing whatever it is, right? But, we know about WoW how quickly things can go from good to bad, right? Like, it can be perfectly normal, perfectly fine, but it's similar to how, like, a real fight would break out in real life. You're just questing, minding your own business. Out of nowhere, a patrol comes up behind you and ends your career, right? It just it's immersive in that sense because it reminds me of real life when I'm playing with One Life in Classic WoW. Yeah.
Say, Kargoz, one of the things that I really didn't expect to get out of this that I like. So I recently made a Warlock and a Warrior, 2 classes that I never really played, right? And I'm so glad that I did it in a hardcore environment because I'm learning so much about these classes in a way that's teaching. Like, I tanked for the first fucking time, right? As a Warrior in, like, RFC, Welling Caverns. And doing it, like, it made the dungeon experience some of the best dungeons I've ever done in my life. Because... you have to look at every situation like it could be our last. If you pull wrong gear, or if someone runs away and pulls, and like me being the tank, the person who has like all this on my shoulders, and who has never fucking tanked before, right? Never played a warrior before, learning all this step by step, dude. It just makes it so much more immersive, so much more of like a powerful moment. And like, I had people come in the chat who have played or playing retail. They're like, oh my God, I never, I want to start playing classic and do hardcore, and like they don't even fucking they have no idea, they never even played classic before, but they're drawn into the hardcore because it's so much more like everything has more meaning, right? So like me being able to make this warrior and like never fucking played one before, Melderon's giving me tips, giving me all these pointers. I now have the feeling that like I got to do everything perfectly, and I'm learning in a way where if I'm just leveling through and I die, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter, but I have to play perfectly. I have to play perfectly all of the time, or else I could die. And that just makes it so much more entertaining for people to watch, right? Because you never know what could happen, but it also makes it that much more of an experience when you're playing. That if something goes wrong, I have to know exactly what to do to get out of this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a totally different way of playing the game. So I play completely different when I play hardcore than I play. Like right now, I'm trying to get a warrior to 60 before this week's over, because I'm gonna start tanking 20 mans just because I want to start tanking, and I don't want to become a main off tank or something for Navic. I'm playing on my shaman for that reason. So I want to start tanking 20 mans for the guild, right? So. Right now I'm pulling like 6 mobs, dying every fucking 10 minutes, just trying to get as many XP as I can. But when I like when I'm on my warrior, my hardcore warrior, I am like in a completely different mindset, right? Completely different mindset. Where I'm literally like bow pulling, most of the time because I don't want to like maybe there's a mob behind that tree. I don't know. I don't want to charge in. It's just an amazing way to play the game, and it makes you. That's the only way I think we can recapitulate the vanilla experience is to play the game, like you said, in a way that's different. And if that's really what you want, if you want to experience how it was back then, hardcore is the way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you have these epic moments too, man. Like, I ran Dead Mines yesterday, right? And some of you guys, type 1 in the chat if you watched it and you saw this live, right? So we ran Dead Mines, we're all cocky. I had a Cruel Barb in hand, I had a Taskmaster Axe, we had all these sick drops, Lavishly Jeweled Ring dropped, Emberstone Staff dropped, everything dropped, everybody was happy, right? We're leaving the dungeon. And we wanted to finish that quest with the undead guys around the corner where you get those miners cards. So we're headed over there, and there's a pally that's, I guess, boosting somebody or helping somebody out in DM, and he comes around the corner with like 20 mobs on him, right? And he bubbles or something, or maybe he zones into the dungeon, and all of these mobs, elites, they threat transfer over to our group, right?
Oh my God.
The sheer horror, right? I'm a warrior and I'm trying desperately to peel for the group. I throw a grenade, I throw up a thunderclap, a demo shout, but our priest gets taken down at 20% health. He's dazed and at 20% health, and it looks like one of those scenarios where I just knew it was over. Like, the math wasn't even close. The math was it wasn't even close. Like, he was 100% gonna die, and then a paladin hits him with lay on hands, and the lay on hands full heals him, right? And it's just enough to get him out of that situation. The level of camaraderie that action would like create is like it's unexplainable. You know, like everybody is there, like in solidarity, like holy shit, what an amazing play. That guy just saved him like 20 hours of playtime or something, right? And if that one dude went down, the whole dungeon would have just been super feels bad, man. Some people play hardcore where if anyone in their group dies, they delete too. They think it's all or one, one for none. A group did Wailing Caverns last night, and they're all on the same page. They're like, if any one of you dies, I'm deleting my character. And that's the type of shit, man. It creates those epic gamer moments, dude. It really does. And also, like, the other thing I was going to say before I shut up is weird items, too. Like, Target Dummy. I played this game for so long, right? I'd never really actually used a Target Dummy in my life. I just thought it was kind of a meme.
So good, dude.
And who would create it? Because it's kind of annoying to create when you're leveling engineering. I've leveled engineering 100 times. And in hardcore, like, you just discover new items that you would have never used before become not only good, but, like, the greatest items ever. So as a warrior, Target Dummies are like a real oh shit button that you can put down, and it's saved me already like half a dozen times already. And you know, the point I'm getting at is that when just by making a few tweaks to the format, no auction house, no trading, no mailbox, one life, you destroy the meta and just shatter it into a million pieces, and you just have this whole new game.
Yeah. We don't have to make our own game. We don't have to be the developers. Like, it's a whole new world in the leveling. And if you don't like leveling, it's unfortunate. Maybe you should still give it a shot. You might not like it, but for a lot of the player base out there that enjoys leveling, it has vanilla feels. The gratification of hardcore is like classic back in the day. So a lot of things work for hardcore. I don't know where we should go with it. Like,
I think it's beautiful where it's at right now, honestly. I think the best part for me is, like, it just feels so good whenever you get an upgrade. So good when you get it into a dungeon and the dungeon goes well. But I think the natural progression, I would love to see an all hardcore raid at some point. I think that would be the next step. I think that could be the next step. We get enough people. Eventually we can get enough people up to 60, you know, and do, you know, maybe we do like a ZG, right? You know, you do a 20-man or something like that. But to get a full 40-man hardcore would be
Insane.
Absolutely insane, dude. Yeah,
I wouldn't know what the meta would look like with that. Like we said, we've joked around about it, saying everyone would stack Stam. There would be literally 0 threat issues.
20 priests. I don't know. like have all 20 healers or something. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Gray.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, we can all agree, everybody that has the hardcore bug, we're infectious, it feels like vanilla again. What's going to happen in a couple of years? Is hardcore just going to die out? What's the responsibility that we have as a community and player base to hold up the integrity of the game mode? Now that we're going, it's been made for 6 months. I think that 7 characters have hit level 60, 6 people have done it. And I think that this content's going to be around for a couple of years to stay. But I mean, like all things left to itself, it's just going to digress. And so what's the responsibility of the community to improve hardcore? What's going to be its downfall? Do you have to make continuous changes to it? You know, when somebody donated $5 earlier, he said, you know, the only thing I don't like about hardcore is somebody can just cheese it killing green mobs 1 to 60. And I have ideas of, you know, I think hardcore needs an achievement system to extend its lifetime. And this is the sandbox. This is where we, as if you want to call us developers, like if you want to be a developer and you're excited about hardcore, this is where you come in and you create an achievement system that extends the lifespan. So it differentiates your run from your one druid run from other druids. Did they get these certain amount of achievement points? Did they complete this quest at a certain level? And they got X amount of points. So what's the community's responsibility right now to maintain the purity of hardcore, if you will? Because I think we all feel like we struck gold.
I think I share that sentiment, striking gold, Grays, and you made a lot of good points. And speaking of someone who's been from the very start, I had to shout it out. Loretta has been one of my oldest mods on YouTube. I should be paying her for real. Like, she's been here since the very start. She just donated 100, saying every single guy here on GMA has given me so much love for this game. Defcamp for the humor, Melderon and Dunedain for the knowledge, Grays for blazing for days, and Kargoz for knowledge. Love for the game and community, of course.
We love you, Loretta. We fucking love you. Oh my God!
Thank you so much, Loretta. That's a super generous and kind donation. We got to do something for you at some point.
Seriously.
The other thing I wanted to say, though, really quick, about the guy who said that about turtles. If you're still here, man, he said, you know, you could just kill green mobs the whole way up. Mm-hmm. To me, I don't think that's cheesing it. Let me know what you think, though, Grace, because you can do that in real life too. You can do that in real life. If you're trying to get it to the finish line and have some kids and get to the end goal for life, you can just you could call it cheesing it, but you
I got
can go
some
out
words
there.
of wisdom.
and work a
here we
super
go.
safe job and just accumulate a little bit of money at a time, like a really small amount, slow and steady. In order to get to 1 to 60 grinding green safe mobs, bro, you know how much time that would take? You know, like that, a human nature compels you to risk it for the biscuit. Like, you can't help yourself. There's only so many turtles you can massacre before you're like, I need to go do a quest right now.
I got something for you guys, right? I got some words of wisdom. Like, what created this whole hardcore thing, right? It was to think outside the box, to do, like he said, Kargoz, this whole time, to do something different, right? You know, to make the sandbox element, to do something on your own. And Grays, I think the answer to your question is, how do we keep this going? How do we keep doing this? And it's in that vein, Kargoz, exactly what you said. Like, it's, don't put, rules, or don't put, like, it's like everyone has their own way of making the game better. Everyone has, whether it's the guy who does turtles, who kills turtles, where it's the guy who goes and wants to do dungeon runs, or the guy who wants to level like this. Like, the possibilities are endless. Like, create your own fucking style. That's what hardcore was bred from. Was from Kargoz wanting to do something from his own way, to think outside the box, to make something out of this game, to make something out of nothing, basically. And I think that's the legacy of hardcore, is to continue that, to make...
Yeah, the leveling meta was destroyed. There's no leveling meta. People don't level in the open world. They don't even group up for dungeons. They just get boosted in Classic. But that's the beauty of it. Like, the beauty of it is that the possibilities are endless. You can do whatever floats your boat, dude. Whatever you like doing, do it. If you want to do it with world buffs, like we were having this conversation the other day, Kargoz on the stream, do it with world buffs. If you don't. Mm-hmm. You have your own thing that you can do, and that's the beauty of it. You can make whatever rules that you want to do, whatever you want to do, like the inside of the hardcore community, inside of what it is. It's very minimal rules, like no auction house, no trades. You know what I mean? It's that those things, and whatever you want to do from there, do it. Whether you want to do a raid, whether you want to do dungeons, whether you want to kill turtles, the possibilities are endless. And I think that is the legacy of hardcore, is to do what the fuck you want to do.
Exactly, man. And just to build on that too is you guys played D&D before, right? I'm assuming even Dunedain, you played it. Grays, you might not. You might be kind of like me, like you never actually tried it. But I'm saying, so I never tried it, right? But you would be lying if you didn't acknowledge that there is some sort of like RP, that like inadvertent RP that takes place when you're doing the hardcore challenge. Like when that paladin fucking lay on hands to him, it was such a paladin move. Like his skill made so much sense. Like he fucking blessed him with like the Uther's hand or whatever, right? But like for me, when I was playing a rogue, you remember Defcamp? Like it's kind of cringe now. Like I think I was shitting on rogues so hard like a year ago. Remember?
I know you were, dude.
I was like, why would you imagine playing a rogue and not a warrior? I was shitting on rogues so hard. Like people remember that, right? Dude, rogue in hardcore, specifically in hardcore, is extremely enjoyable, Defcamp, because stealth, which is an ability that I never really cared about that much, stealth is like your safety blanket. Like it's like your warm, cut, fuzzy blanket that you wrap yourself in when the world is dangerous. Like stealth, poisons, all the little cheap things you do and tricks and do, even just the pickpocketing feels legitimately 1,000 times better than it would normally do, because I would think to myself, why would I pickpocket something? I could just go on my mage alt and go grind lashers or do whatever, go like do ZG farm. But when you have no money and you're just some broke melee boy out in the world wearing leather and like every pocket you can pick, you feel so happy about, because it's like free value you're getting. You get this on loot table. So I feel like the class fantasy of rogue has just increased in my mind so much more by playing hardcore, if that makes sense.
Dude, who knew it? All we had to do is we got Kargoz to love rogues. All we had to do is make him do a hardcore rogue, dude. That makes me so happy, because
and now he's playing a gnome warrior. Look at
right. But I feel like you really get the full experience of that class. Like you really now you understand like the full power and the full like all the amazing things about each class. Like now I'm starting to understand warlock and warrior so much more than I did before, and like, dude, that's just the best. You love to see it. I've ever heard. I love. Yeah,
you love the warrior now. You're really like. It seems like you're having a ton of fun with it, man.
I'm having so much. Like I love the warlock and all, but I love doing the duo with Melderon with the warrior, because it's so new to me, dude.
Before I forget too, Melderon's dream, his final form dream. I remember you told me this for years now. Melderon was to be a guardian shaman, right? Like to be like a protector shaman. Yo, I am happy to report that in hardcore, that is not only like a viable, but that probably is like the best way to achieve it.
I've already made like a build for it and everything, dude. If this warrior dies, like, I'm ready to roll on it, bro.
Isn't that hype though? It's actually like the best though, maybe, because you want it to be like a tanky shaman with some heals and resto. You even made a guide about how to level his resto. Hardcore's got to be so hyped for you for that, because that is no longer a meme. People aren't going to be laughing at you. They're going to be like, oh, I understand why you're trying to go that way, because you only have one life. What's the point if you die, right? So
I gotta get you guys.
If the warrior dies, it's going to be that.
You guys need to finish a debate Melderon I have. So Melderon and I created the tanky. Melderon pretty much created the spec, right? So I have a core difference than he does. Our spec is exactly the same for the tanky shaman. However, in my spec, I get improved Ghost Wolf. I think improved Ghost Wolf, especially as a Tarn, is one of the most beneficial things you can get, because that is going to fucking save your ass.
Taking points out of.
I'm only taking points out of
dodge. Taking out of dodge.
No. I'm taking it out of reverberation, I think, right?
No.
Oh no, dodge. Yeah, it did. It was like 2 less dodge. But I think having that Ghost Wolf, in my opinion, is that much more important, because if you get in a point where you need to fucking get out of there fast, you have a 2-second reduced cast time. It's a 0.5-second cast, right, of Ghost Wolf. That's, you can War Stomp, put down an Earthbind Totem, and go into Ghost Wolf and get the fuck out of there. And I think that amount is just, to me, I will always pick
my
those
argument
points.
before Kargoz answers. Let me present my argument. The reason why I don't like it is because it does nothing for you indoors. Most deaths occur indoors. I would rather have the 100% 5% dodge all the time, especially in dungeons, than the Ghost Wolf, because I have Stoneclaw, I have Earthbind, and I think if you're playing properly, you shouldn't need improved Ghost Wolf. That's my argument.
The cool thing is there's no correct answer in hardcore, right? Like which is awesome,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
It's just which is great, man. It's like this uncharted meta. Dunedain,
and you can put those points back in the dodge later as well, Melderon.
Would you ever consider playing hardcore Dunedain? I mean, different strokes, different folks, man. If you're not into
yeah, I was about to ask. Do you guys do those tournaments still?
We do. Just got to get my act together. I got delayed. I got set back a little bit, but there's going to be a duo cup for the next one, which should be pretty exciting too. Like
I really liked the solo one though, but I really liked participating in it. It was the first time and the last time I played hardcore. I tried after the tournament to play on that character a little bit, and I did for a couple of hours, but never really picked it up after it. So yeah, maybe in the future, but right now I still kind of have enough to do with my paladin and my hunter elf and everything else.
Yeah.
So, but I can definitely see the
appeal. Yeah.
Good things about it. Yeah, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's not at the moment. I'm not really needing.
Well, the duo might change. Like I would maybe encourage you to do the duo one when it comes out, because for anybody in the chat, like type something in the chat if you've done this before. If you've actually tried the duo level with a good friend, one of the most fun things you can ever do. And I love watching Defcamp and Melderon duo level. It's actually fucking hilarious, dude. It's more funny to me than like watching like a TV show. Like duo leveling is mad
so
fun.
fun.
Even remember anybody watching me when I was leveling with Navik? Like, you know, that was mad. I thought that was pretty fun. Like, you know, and Grays and thick meta, like, dude, it creates the best moments, right? Think about it, Grays.
I love it.
Like, duo leveling is so fun, man. Like,
it's my favorite part of it. It really is. Like, and especially I get to play with my brother. You know what I mean? And we have that banter, which is just so much fun. But you really also, like, people say, oh, it's too overpowered, but like the thing is, you get a little cocky, right? Because you think, okay, I can take on more, and I think it's just as dangerous too, because you know we try to go a little bit faster, we try to kill more stuff, and if one of us dies, right? If Melderon's away in Ghost Wolf form and I fuck up, we're both dead, right? We're one character, so that's the point that you gotta, like, you know, if something happens and you know I fuck up or he fucks up, we're both done.
Yep. Did you see the duo tournament that died in the Undercity elevator, Melderon?
Oh my god, I heard about that. Yes.
Yes, I did see that.
Yep. That was.
If you do a tournament, I will probably see if I have time, and then I might participate. I liked it a lot last time, so it sounds good, as long as it's not like in the middle of the night for me.
Yeah.
Because Europe, you know.
Sounds good. Well, anyway, should we wrap, guys? We've been streaming for a while. I know you guys have busy lives and stuff.
Yeah, we get something to eat.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun tonight, guys. Gray's coming to Philly soon. I can't wait, bro.
It's gonna be sweet.
Oh man,
cooking streams incoming.
Hell yes, dude. Hell yes.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, dude. I'd like to do a cooking stream. Absolutely. But I just gotta figure out, like, Well, we talk about this off stream. I'm trying to figure out how to combine computer streaming and phone streaming in the same thing.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah. But again, though, Kargoz, I want to say thank you for everything, man. And the rest of you guys, thank you. You know I love you. So.
Sad, this feeling is mutual, man. I'm an only child, so you guys are, are tier ones for me, man. Like, you guys are, my bros. So.
Yeah. As much as I hate that we had a lot of banter going on today, and like I know it sounds like we're Debbie Downers, and it's all because we love the game and we want better for it. Maybe we just need to move on and do our own thing. But we're really having a lot of fun with hardcore. If nobody knows about it, you could probably plug it to classicHC.net.
Yeah, true.
If anybody didn't know what we were talking about these last hour or so, but yeah, it's your community. Love it, cherish it, take care of it, protect it.
I like that.
Honor it, and I'm excited to see what we have to come
a wise shaman once said, "Be a good classic WoW ambassador or community ambassador."
Right.
Remember you said that, bro? That's
right.
That's his stuff, man.
There you go.
OG Melderon video right there.
I think he meant paladin, but.
Oh man. So anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for being here, guys. This is one of our most successful GMAs in terms of the viewership. So we really appreciate you guys still putting up with us a year plus later, 50 plus episodes later. We're still rambling on about this game, but we just can't help it. We're still here for you. So thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna host another hardcore player who's in the 50s. So this is big hype. He might hit 60 this week. His name is Tommy Salami. He has the world record 1 to 10 time on Human Paladin. 59 minutes 50 seconds 1 to 10. Can you believe that, Defcamp? That is insane.
Well, that's fucking holy shit, dude.
Mr. Sub 1 hour level 10. He's leveling a paladin right now, taking the hardcore challenge seriously.
God.
He's a world-renowned speedrunner when it comes to this game, so he should have some good gameplay for you. And I'll be back later probably with some more Gnome hardcore. I'm level 24 right now. And that's it, guys. Any final words?
Just keep on and grinding, and we love you.
I will hop into your streams, guys. I like it. It's always nice.
Hell yeah. Guys,
just play the game you want to play it. I guess that's the best. And if you're not having fun with the game, try something different, like hardcore.
Last thing I want to say, Graysfordays is dinging 60 tomorrow, guys.
Let's do it. Let's go.
No pressure,
By the way,
but massive pressure, dude. You're a pillar of the hardcore community. You're a pillar, so if the pillar crumbles, the whole community is probably gonna dismantle. So
is that
no
the first to 60 for you? Great.
Yeah, 6 months in the making, man. I hope the 59 curse isn't on the way. I got a lot of things. We're gonna be questing in Eastern Plaguelands, the scariest zone. I've got some. If I survive the Plaguelands, we're gonna go do some Devil Sword shenanigans.
Oh no!
I don't know. If I make it, Blaze4Days is gonna be in full form tomorrow, and we'll see how he does. It's gonna be crazy.
I can't wait, dude.
You got this, bro. It's the blessed run. You're a showman, man. You're gonna absolutely murder it tomorrow. If you guys want to put your channels into the chat, feel free. I'm gonna go ahead and.
Yeah. Before we go, shout out to the Fellowship, Best Guild EU, Bloodfang.
Shout out to Eden, my boys in Eden.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to you. Good job, guys.
Shout out to Victory or Death and Classic HC. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right,
and
guys.
The Classic HC. All right.
Take care, fellas. Peace.